now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to set up... First, let's do the mugs. Rock, mug, and we'll just do 7 of these guys. So they got something to drink out of. That'll be the craft dwarfs. Let's just go ahead and make this lock to him. So our craft dwarf here, proficient stone crafter, we'll just say that they're in charge of the shop and they're the ones that are going to craft from there. Stone worker is we're going to put to our mason here. And the mechanic shop, I think I'm also going to do to the mason for now. He doesn't have any mechanic skills. Oh no, he is a proficient mechanic. I actually did do that. So perfect. Okay, so those are all set. The carpenter's workshop, we're going to give to the carpenter. Yeah, the novice carpenter. And this craft dwarf workshop, I'm honestly not really even going to use this right now. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bother with it right now, so we'll just go ahead and do this. Yeah, so we're getting, you see, we're already starting to get a big pile here. Eventually this thing is going to get huge. It's practically infinite, I believe, so what I could do is I could now set this to be, you know, basically tell these workshops, like, you know, I only want you to take items from this output stockpile. I don't think I'm going to bother with that for now. I've still got some ones just kind of lingering around here that I don't care. They can just grab them. But eventually I might do that once I get like a critical mass in here, just to avoid the off chance that, I mean, generally they'll take whatever's closest anyway. So, you know, you don't really need to do that for something like this. So I didn't bother with it in my last game. Where this can really come in handy though, more, is going to be things like food is a good example, right? So you set up a kitchen and you know, you go ahead and create meals. They're just going to be kind of dumb in terms of what they go and grab. It's just like grabbing the nearest thing, and what they might be doing is grabbing stuff like plants that you really need to continue to make seeds out of. And so like you're finding yourself like you constantly keep running out of seeds because those plants, like as soon as they're crafted or as soon as they're grown, like they come down and somebody cooks them up in a meal. So one thing that you can do is like you can make a very pick and choose items out of a stockpile and put that really close to the kitchen, and basically make sure that it's the only food stockpile that has certain kinds of items in it. So like raw meat, you know, that you want to use up quick, cheese, you know, other things that basically doesn't have any other purpose other than just to feed dwarves, right? You just make sure all of that is going to one stockpile, and you say you only cook from this stockpile. And so now if that stockpile runs out, like the cooking just stops, and you're not going to end up cooking up all your alcohol and you know, your plants that you need seeds out of and stuff like that. That's one thing you can do. In that particular case, there's actually another way you can do that, which is that you can come down here to the standing orders, which is something I haven't really showed off yet. So in the labor menu, you can go over to standing orders. You've got stuff here that just makes your life easier. Some things that you can do to automate workshops, automating hauling, refuse and dumping, all this stuff. But a key one here is going to be your kitchen and your stone use. Is that you can basically, for each thing that you have, you can set whether dwarves are allowed to cook or brew from those. So this is a way to basically do some of that without having to go as in-depth as creating these customized stockpiles. And I would say, if there's another way the game gives you besides doing that, you probably want to do that first and only go for the like really customized stockpiles as a last resort to get the things done that you want, simply because those tend to be a lot harder to keep track of. Like once you end up with a huge fortress and you've got, you know, 50 stockpiles all over the place, like it's really hard to keep up with. Like I create a food stockpile that's very specific and I'm like, oh, I have to remember every other food stockpile in the fortress and remember to like go into those and disallow those things that I put in there so that they don't end up getting split or going to one or the other or whatever. Like, it can kind of create a headache. So it's powerful, but it's probably something that you should do as a last resort if there's absolutely any other way to get done what you need to get done. All right. What do we got going on here? So carpenter's workshop. We've already got our beds ready to go out here. Furniture is another one that's like going to be really, really good as a quantum stockpile. That might actually be what I do right here, is go ahead and create my furniture stockpile. So when I create rock furniture or wood furniture, like they can just declutter these workshops by just taking those over and getting them all stacked up in one tile right here. Furniture is something that's usually very annoying to deal with without having this kind of exploit, right? Like the more cluttered a workshop gets by items that are not being taken out of it, you can click on it and kind of see all the items here. These are completely clean right now, right? But if these get filled up and you don't have anywhere for this furniture to go or anywhere for this stock workshop output to go, it will eventually get cluttered, and it just makes the tasks like finish much. It takes a lot more effort to get basic tasks done. So in the interest of efficiency, you really want to get those cleared. Sometimes it could even be worse than that if you're talking about something like a butcher workshop where the output is rottable material like meat. Then it's especially bad because not only your meat's rotting, it's useless, and it's creating miasma clouds that's going to piss off your dwarves. So definitely something you need to get taken care of quickly. Okay, so before I set up the furniture stockpile here, I definitely want to get my food taken care of because I'm concerned that these are... Oh, in fact, look, they're already starting to grow. So this is really crucial that I get a food stockpile set up right now, or else this stuff's going to go bad. Okay, so let's come down here to this level. Like I said before, I don't really want a quantum stockpile for food, so I think I'm going to save this space and instead just like make this interior right now be my food stockpile. So I think I'm going to put my kitchen and breweries like kind of over here, and so what I might do is just have like stockpiles right in the middle here, and dwarves can walk over the stockpiles no problem, so you can kind of like put these in your critical paths if you want. It's not going to be a huge deal. Maybe a smart thing to do actually would be to make these inputs really close. Why don't we do this? Why don't we do brewery? Let's do like kitchen and brewery, I think. So in that case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a stockpile here that's like literally just around where these workshops go. And I'm going to do my inputs so that they're just right there, ready to go. And I'll put any food in here that I want to be brewed, basically. So what I want to be brewed is these plump helmets. So I'm going to go into food. I don't want prepared meals in here, definitely. I want only plants, and I think I want only plump helmet. So for now, we're just going to have plump helmets in here. The other thing that we're absolutely going to need, so food will rot. I believe plants will go bad too. Certainly meat will rot if it's not in a container. And so what you're going to need a lot of, which eventually will automate with manager orders, but for now we just need a lot of barrels and bins, basically. So if you come up here and you look at the stuff that you have in your wagon still, you'll see all your alcohol is in these barrels. All your meat is all in these barrels right now. Some of the food can be stored in bins as well. I want to say the plump helmets are going to need bins, and I don't really have any of that right now, so I definitely need to get production on those started, so that they're not just so that this is basically not just filled up with raw food laying on the floor. So let's go to the carpenter's workshop. This is one of the few things that you can't make out of stone, I don't believe. So if I go over here to my stoneworker's shop or something like that, I don't think I can make any stone barrels or stone bins. Yeah, a cabinet is different. So this is something that you definitely need your wood for, which is why I've been kind of prioritizing doing other furniture with rock for now and building buildings out of rock. so I can kind of save these for stuff like bins and barrels that need to be done here. So for right now, I'm going to go ahead and create bin and barrel, and I'm just going to set these on repeat and just make quite a few of these. This is definitely safe to do right now because I'm going to need a little bit, like slightly fewer of these than I would normally since I'm doing the quantum stockpile thing. But I'm still going to need a lot of these. So let's just go ahead and do those on repeat. And then that's going to be plump helmets. So yeah, they're already starting to bring them down here, but you see they're just putting them on the floor. As soon as those bins and barrels are done, in fact, I think I'm going to prioritize these and say, you know, do this above anything else. Don't haul or do anything. Like, I've already got a worker set here, so I'm basically telling this guy, like, this is your top priority. You can use these to your advantage here. Very, very convenient. So he should start doing that like right away. Yeah, you can see the green check mark here. He's doing it. And then as soon as those are done, you should start seeing them come down here and put these away where they should be. How are my miners doing? Are they done? Okay. So I'm going to tell my miner to dig these out. And we're going to use those. Actually, you know what? No, I don't need all these. So let's just do this one for now, maybe. And we'll set up our brewery here. Actually, this one's even more central to our input stockpile here. So we'll do that. All right, what do we got going? I just want to double check on things here. These are filling out. Rock mugs are going. Everybody's kind of doing something, so I'm happy. All right, there we go. We got a barrel in here, so now hopefully people will start putting that in there. Yeah, you see, we're getting bugs here too because we've just got plants out in the open. One of the benefits of having the cats that we brought at the beginning that are going to start, you know, breeding. Let's see how they're doing right now. Looks like they haven't breeded at all yet, but these cats will actually help you with little critters around the base and bugs and things like that. Especially once you get kind of a critical mass of them. Alright, so we'll build a brewery here. It's going to be in farming. Still, yeah, that's what we want. Rhyolite. And we're going to do our other food over here. We need to get our other food off the barrel, but it's a little bit less imperative. Okay, so you see here now, we got all these plump helmets in this barrel, and they'll just continue to use those as they're available. So it's a lot of space saving going on here, and it's going to be a really short trip to brew those. In fact, let's go ahead and go into our standing orders right now. And say for the kitchen, do I want you to brew the strawberries? Yeah, I do. So I'm going to turn off cooking on both of these and just say I only want you to brew these because the brewing is actually going to create alcohol and seeds, I believe, for both of these. So we can kind of keep propagating. I still can't see, like I really want to be able to look in here and see exactly how many seeds that we have. My numbers are not perfect. Maybe they are perfect in here, which is kind of a little bit crazy to me that it shows it to you. But normally we need a bookkeeper to be able to have these completely accurate. But I do want to like just kind of keep double checking on these. You can come in real quick and use the where is it, your stocks here, and just search something. So you can search like plump helmet spawn and see like at a glance. Yeah, it looks like it's giving me an exact number, which I'm a bit surprised by, but you want to make sure that this number is kind of being kept up and maybe change some things if you're noticing that getting really low. We started with 151, so we're in good shape. All right, what else is going on here? The other food that we're gonna have let's do another stockpile here, and this is going to be stuff that I want cooked, basically. For this one right now, I think I'm not going to customize it much other than get rid of prepared meals. I don't want him cooking stuff out of here and then putting it back in the same pile. I want him to take the prepared meals down closer to where I have my dining hall and my rooms, so people can kind of just get up and go there. That's where I'm going to put my brewed alcohol and my prepared meals. So definitely I don't want that. Definitely I don't want the drinks for the same reason. So I'm going to do none on these, none on the drinks for now. Definitely no seeds, right? We have seeds in another thing. Anything else? Like, I can already see there's going to be other stuff in here that I eventually don't want. And this is why I mean, like, doing the specific stockpile thing is a double-edged sword, because it's very powerful, but now I'm going to have to remember later on to come back here and, like, clean this up, right? Because, like, when I get to the point where I'm doing my paper industry, like, you know, I'm not going to want my, like, slurry in here that I'm using to create paper sheets, like, in my food stockpile that's by the kitchen. So I'm going to leave it for now, but I don't even have any of this stuff right now, so it's not going to make a difference. But really, you know, this is where it's going to bite me later. Like, if I wanted to be safe here, probably I should just do, you know, maybe I will actually just play it safe and just do, like, I know I have meat right now and fish that I want to cook. Unprepared fish we can put, you know, that's going to go to the fishery when we have it. So, like, maybe I just do this for now because this is what I know I have, and then later on I can add other stuff. We could put cheese in there. We don't have any right now, but I know I'm going to want cheese to go here. So yeah, maybe we'll keep it at that for now and just do, like, cooking ingredients here, and we'll name this one something like that. And then let's see what happens, because I think that's going to get most of this stuff gone here. I think that's going to cover what we have in here. Strawberries. Maybe I should put the strawberries here too, because I said strawberries are okay. So let's go back to this guy and do strawberries as well. Strawberry plant? Okay. Thought it would just be strawberry. Oh, yeah, it's fruit. Okay. It's not strawberry plant. That's weird. Alright, let's see what happens. And then we'll mine out one of these for a kitchen. Alright, what do we got here? We got rock mugs. Got bins and barrels going. I think I'm about ready to just go ahead and get my crafts Dwarf, like, rocking on these after the rock mugs, and just do crafts, like, basically almost non-stop until the caravan comes. But maybe before I do that, I should just knock out, like, a couple of mechanisms so that if we want to do you know, an indoor thing here with a pool, we can. Although I will say it's a little bit less important here than it was in my last base, because this is not, I believe this is fresh water. So I'm not too concerned about it, because if they really need water, they can go over to the river. So yeah, maybe I don't care. Maybe I just get him going right away. And then I think this is going to kind of be it for, like, the critical shops that I want right now. So I'm going to do my, not a butcher, but a kitchen. Also Rhyolite. And so I might go ahead and actually just go start digging a little bit deeper and do my dining room and my initial bedrooms, because I noticed they're already starting to just, like, sleep on the floor, which is not great. So why don't we do that? Yeah, all right. Let's see. We're at elevation. Our workshops are going to be 32, 31, and 30. So basically, I would say, like, I maybe want to give, like, a good 10 levels buffer between this and starting to get into like dining room area, which would put us down at like 20 here. So like maybe we do dining room on 20, and then from 20 down we can just start doing rooms. I'm trying to give myself enough of a buffer that like I just have spare, you know, like I'm gonna have a lot of rooms that just look like this, right? Like just an empty staircase, that when it's like, oh, it's time to make a library. Like I can just go to a new room and make a library. Again, like everything that I'm doing is kind of to avoid this thing that's gonna happen if I don't plan well, where I'm gonna have to start like building out, and just making longer runs for everything. Like I really want most of my levels to just be around the central column. So I think 10 is enough, but I might even just go down to like 15 and just really give myself a lot of space to work with. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. So let's set these all the way down to 15. And then on 15, we're going to have our dining hall, or like our main dining hall and meeting area. And then underneath that will be the housing district, kind of. So the dining hall, I want to mostly just sort of be open. But under here is going to be the rooms. And so I can show you what I did last time for rooms. Was basically what I had was something that was I did my rooms as 4x3s, which is kind of large for like normal rooms for dwarves. You could fit a lot in there. You definitely don't need to make them this big. I think a lot of people would do 3x3. I think 2x2 is too small. You could probably honestly even get away with a bunch of 2x3s if you really want to pack a lot together. But it is sort of nice to have the extra space, and this means also that like you don't have to do too much more for rooms that have nobles. And so what I did was basically I had a bunch of floors that looked like this essentially. My center column was a little bit different, so I had more space, but I basically had this on both sides. Something very similar to this, and essentially I don't know why this is not mapping out properly. I don't know, I did something slightly different, but basically the center rooms here had a link to a smaller room here, which was basically the like office, and for people that needed an office. And then I ended up doing basically a bigger room up here in the case where they needed a dining room, and these were like noble rooms. So the actual bedroom space was still sort of like the same size as the other dwarves, and I would just fill it with like better stuff to make it a little bit better for whatever they needed. And this worked pretty well. It doesn't work quite as well with my central column here being a little bit different, so I think I'm going to have to come up with some other another idea here. So this was a, I guess that held, let's see, 1 2 3 4 5 20. It would be like 5x4 rooms, so I think I was doing like 20 rooms per level. What would it look like to do a 3x3 rooms around here if I did this? The other thing is we don't necessarily have to be subject to the center column under this. I could get rid of the center column concept, because what I'm going to do is basically for the entrances to the rooms is I'm going to create stairways in the middle of the room. And this is kind of to save on doors. Normally when you make bedrooms, like there's a bunch of stuff that you're going to have to make, right? You're definitely going to need a bed is like the thing you're going to have to need. And if you do like a bunch of flat rooms, you're going to need hallways to link them, and then you're going to need a bunch of doors. And so I really, really like this style where your rooms are just kind of like this chain of room, like you access them through down upstairs and downstairs. And later you can add hatches to these if you really kind of want doors, more for aesthetics than anything. But you don't need them. You know, they function perfectly fine with just the stair as the entryway. And then you have the rest of the room to, you know, you put your bed up here, a chest, a cabinet, you know, armor stand, weapon rack, whatever the heck you want to put in here, to kind of fill out your rooms. And this should give me enough space. So maybe I'll just do 3x3s this time. All right, what would that look like? So it's not going to fit perfectly this way. So maybe I do like, what would it look like if I did like a caddy corner thing? Like, do it here. I'm just gonna try to figure out a design that I like for this before I start doing it. So if I did that, I'd have 2 spaces between, which I guess would give me the ability to like make these rooms a little bit bigger if I really needed to. Do something like that. No, I don't like that as much. But if I do this, I'm not going to have enough space. Is there any way I can center this then? What would it look like here? That's not quite gonna center. Yeah, it would be basically touching diagonal. I don't want that. I suppose I could do something different for like a center column. Like maybe do rooms here or something. And then what exactly would I do with this? Going to be too many larger rooms that I don't really need. It's going to be, how far out would I have to go to get the amount of rooms I had last time? So this would be 18 if I did 2 levels of the 2 parts of this, which is almost the same amount but not quite. And then that is kind of a long distance that they have to walk to the on the dining room level, like over to their room here. So I don't know if I want to go that far out. I definitely kind of want the walls touching though, because the benefit of like having them packed together with just like one wall between is that it's going to really make my life easier in engraving all of these and making them nicer later on, because like all of these are sharing walls. So like when I engrave these, like both of these rooms get the benefit. When I engrave this, like both of these rooms get the benefit. So I do sort of like that. Yeah, maybe I just need to not do 3x3s with this 5x5 staircase. Or alternatively, if we start a little bit further away, then maybe we don't have to catty corner. Like maybe that's the answer. Yeah, that looks nice. Okay, I think that's what we do. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so maybe we do like a kind of a cross pattern. Whoops. So we got 24, looks like. That's pretty good for one level. Oh, and we don't even have, this is actually, hold on, this is not even symmetrical yet. We got more that we can put here. Got even more. All right, what do we got here? 10, 28. Yeah, I like that.